Have you watched the level of silliness that allows for a TikTok page or a Instagram page or a Facebook page to just blow up with viral growth? Have you ever paid really close attention to the content, the quality of the content, and the caliber of the content? Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. You know, it's real easy to grow a massive amount of following, and by that I mean to have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people to follow you from afar, to look upon what you're doing and observe you, and maybe even click a like, send a little donation, buy some product, something of that nature. That's called creating fans, and a fan base is a very important thing. In fact, not too long ago, I guess maybe 20 years ago, well, maybe it's been a long time, there was a book that came out called Raving Fans. And what they really talked about was how to have someone who was not just a casual observer, but a client, and not just a client, but a raving fan, someone who would go out and tell everybody else about what you do. It's a great philosophy, and it follows true for most people that growing your business is easier when you have raving fans who tell everybody else about you. It's part of that buyer's journey. You want to begin with the end in mind. How do I not only make them aware of me, but make them so much aware of me that they tell everybody else about me? It's a great journey. It's a great concept, a good idea. But that's not the role of a leader. Let me say that again. Creating fans is not the role of a leader. It might be to build your business, you have to create fans. It might be to build your platform, you need to create fans. But the role of the leader is to build up other leaders. And in order for a leader to move from that category of creating fans to leading leaders, there's got to be a transition somewhere where your fans become followers. Now that's a whole different level of commitment. It's easy to invite people to like your page. It's really easy to invite people to come and be a part of what you're doing. To invite them to admire you, though, is one level of invitation. To invite them to follow you, to stop doing things the way they're doing them and do them differently. That's a whole different level of invitation. And you'll notice that some of the greatest leaders in the world, the further they work up the food chain, the fewer people there are in their immediate circle behind them. Why is that? Well, because you can only make that much of an impact in so many people. Well, it's great to have a fan base. If you look at John Maxwell, for example, like 200 and some thousand people watch his daily or weekly videos while they're live. Once they're out there, like Simon Sinek and Seth Godin and Nick Vujicic and Les Brown, they will have millions of views. 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 a day is no big deal. 3 or 4 million people follow them on their fan pages. That's awesome. But ask John Maxwell or Nick Vujicic or Les Brown, how many people are in his inner circle? How many people does he speak into their life on a regular basis? That circle is much smaller. Because it's easy to be a fan on the outskirts, to sit around the outside and look in and go, I like what you teach. I like to see your sex. I'd like to model your success. I want to have the things that you have and do the things that you do. And that's a great sentiment. But those people who are willing to walk a little closer to the fire, those who are willing to take a little more risk, those who are willing to commit more time to do what they see done, those are not fans, those are followers. And they're committed followers. And in John's own words, if I live my life and pass on with 30,000 followers, I've accomplished nothing. What I want to know is that I've led leaders who will lead more leaders. See, that's another level of sacrifice. That's another level of commitment. It's another level of exchanging what you have for what you need, what you want, where you want to go with your life. Our job as leaders is not to create fans. I'll give you a great example. Just look in recent months at the protests around the United States, around the world. And there were many who came out at the early days and said, I stand with you. I'm with you. I agree with your plight. It's wrong. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be corrected. But here we are almost 100 days in. And the crowds that are in the streets are dwindling. And those who are left can't necessarily identify the cause for which they first came out. Some are committed. Some are committed to the original cause, committed to the original ideas. Some have hijacked the original cause. Some are just out there because, well, it's a great way to get attention, and I want more fans. They live stream everything that goes wrong, good, bad, or otherwise. They live stream every looting incident. They found a way to get noticed, and noticed was what they wanted. They're perfectly okay with admirers. They're perfectly okay with fans. They don't want to be role models. They don't want to have followers who are going to commit to change their life and do what they're doing. And they certainly don't want to be leaders responsible for the people who come up behind them. But they're perfectly okay with gathering as many fans as they can in this time when everybody's attention is focused on them. But as the days wane on, their commitment dwindles. Why? Because that's what fans do. They move to the thing that captures their attention next. I think if you want to be a leader, you need to observe what's going on today and ask yourself, where are the leaders who will rise up out of these movements? Who are the leaders who will continue in this process, continue with the commitment, continue to gather more people around them to say, we want to see change, and we have a plan, and we have a solution that's workable, and we're willing to commit to doing it and willing to sacrifice everything to make it happen. Those are the leaders, not the admirers, not the fans, not the followers, but the leaders. And if you want to lead, you need to be ready to make the commitment to the other people who are ready to make the commitment. Don't bother with building a fan base or a followership if you're not going to lead them when they follow you. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.